Oop, he cheated on me. Long distance had already weakened our relationship, but he found someone new and cheated. On our 4-year anniversary, I decided to visit him by surprise. I caught him in bed with someone else and closed the door. I left his gifts on the kitchen counter, then proceeded to walk out of the apartment and into my car to think. The shocking thing isn't that he cheated, it's how I reacted. I didn't cry, shout, kick, or feel very upset. Sure, I wasn't happy, but I definitely wasn't sad either. It was more of, oh, I guess this is over now. It's been fun. It didn't affect me as much as it should. It happened and I felt as if I should move on, so that's what I did. He had a much worse reaction in comparison. When I walked back into the apartment, it was only him and me. The person he cheated on me with was nowhere to be seen. He said he asked her to leave after I walked out. I didn't know what to do. He was sitting on the couch with his head in his hands and sobs racking through his body like earthquakes. I did the thing I knew best, be with him. I sat next to him and put my arm around his shoulders. I let him cry into my chest and mumble out apologies that didn't mean much to me. I don't know when it happened, but eventually we were laying down together and he was just holding my waist with his head tucked in the spot where my neck meets my shoulder. He had stopped crying at this point and was sleeping soundly, so I got up. I noticed his apartment was a bit of a mess and he was much thinner. Maybe it was out of love or pity or old time's sake, but I cleaned up his apartment and started making a meal. His favorite. He woke up and hugged me from behind. I shrugged him off and he went back to the couch without a word. When I finished cooking, I took him by the hand and sat him down to eat. He started crying by the first bite and he started to apologize for the 100th time that day. I stopped him and asked him to tell me his story. He told me he didn't want to cheat on me, but he did it because he didn't know whether or not I still cared. He needed someone to show him what I couldn't. He told me that he was still madly in love with me, but he didn't know if I felt the same. I did love him. I think the reason why he couldn't see it is because I didn't show it like he did. Maybe I should said it more or put in more work or called him or anything really. But I told him every day to eat properly, hydrate himself, rest well, and take care. I called him first thing in the morning because I liked his voice. I texted him throughout the day and would respond to every single text he sent. I returned his calls and I sent him a letter every once in a while because we met by pen paling. Was it really me? Should I have visited more and gotten more physical? He'll never know. I told him that I still loved him and he looked at me and said, "Then why are you so calm right now? I cheated on you. You should be livid." What was I supposed to say? I can't answer a question that I don't have an answer to. I couldn't give him a definite answer, so I decided to not answer at all. I told him I don't know and changed the subject. What's next? I asked him. He said he wanted to continue and he said he would do anything to keep me. Looking back, I may have been stupid, but I told him that I didn't want to continue the relationship. He cried again and begged me to change my mind. I comforted him again, but I gave him no answer. We took our food to the couch and watched TV in silence while we ate. He did the dishes and I got my belongings. My clothes, toiletries, jewelry, EpiPens, everything. I put my things in a mesh laundry bag and set it aside. I guess one could say we had our final conversation as a couple at this time. I told him it's over and he begged me one last time. I almost succumbed, but I think out of sheer stubbornness I said no. He nodded and shed a few tears, but nevertheless, he picked up my bag and led me out of his apartment and to my car. I kissed him on the cheek one last time, got in my car, then drove off. The last thing I saw was him on his phone. Found out later that he slept with our friend from high school that night. I only felt tired and a little disgusted. Anyways, we saw each other a year after that at a party, made small talk, then ended up outside. I realize why and how I fell in love with that big dummy. I don't believe he'll ever love someone like I loved him, and the thought alone tastes bittersweet.